Hey teammates, welcome back to science class. Our objective for today is 5.2a, the testing of a simple experiment. Our aim: Kipsters will be able to generate testable questions and identify the independent and the dependent variables in an experiment. First, here's an example of what a variable is. As the fishermen continued into the night, they noticed the waves became more of a variable. They started small and became big, then would go back to being small, then all of a sudden the waves became big again. Pause this video and write down your own definition of variable. Let's take a look at another example. Mr. Schmidt wanted to test how much sunscreen he needed to apply to make sure he didn't end up with a sunburn by the end of the day. On his first Saturday, he only applied sunscreen in the morning and spent the rest of the day on the beach. This is what happened. Yikes. On his second Saturday, Mr. Schmidt applied sunscreen every single hour. This helped him stay sunburn free, and he enjoyed his day on the beach. Way to go, Mr. Schmidt. Now, Kipsters, there are two different types of variables we need to know about in science class. The first is the independent variable. This is the variable that the scientist changes. So when it came to Mr. Schmidt, he changed the amount of sunscreen he applied each day. The second type of variable is the dependent variable. This is the variable that the scientist measures. And in Mr. Schmidt's case, he measured how sunburn he got each day, depending on how much sunscreen he applied. Pause this video and write down the definition of independent variable and dependent variable. Let's practice together. Miss Peters asked the question, does the amount of sunlight I give a plant affect how tall it grows? At your tables, please figure out the independent variable and the dependent variable. Now we know the independent variable is the thing that Miss Peters is going to change, and in this case, it's the sunlight. The amount of sunlight she gives the plant is the only thing that she can change in this experiment. Now when it comes to the dependent variable, this is the thing that she has to measure. And in this case, it's how tall the plant will grow. In science class, there are things called testable questions. And these testable questions help us pick our experiments. A testable question must have something you can change in an experiment and something you can measure. You need an independent variable and a dependent variable. An example of a testable question would be, does salt water boil faster than tap water? There's both something we can change and something we can measure. A non-example would be, is One Direction the best band ever? There isn't something we can change, and there isn't something that we can measure. Go ahead and pause this video and write down the definition of testable question. Let's practice together. In your head, I want you to think, is this question testable or not? Does the sun heat salt water and fresh water at the same rate? This question is testable. Are cats better than dogs? This question is not testable. Which type of battery lasts the longest? This question is testable. Do different liquids freeze at the same rate? This question is also testable. Do raccoons enjoy eating trash? This is not a testable question. Is there a planet past Pluto? While this is a very interesting question, it is not testable. Now it's your turn to try. Go ahead and follow the next directions on the blog.